and welcome to another episode of the Perth to Paisley Podcast, a podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club, who booked their place in the 2024-25 Scottish Cup quarterfinals, courtesy of a penalty shootout victory over St Mirren in Paisley. To chat about the Jambos entering the last eight, I, Adam Kennedy, am joined, as always, by Daniel McIver. Mr. McIver, that was quite the drama-filled Monday night, wasn't it?
It certainly was. I felt like the game went on for 3 hours. Like it was unbelievable how long that lasted. But yes, we're through in a cup game. All that matters is you're through. It does not matter how you get there, as long as you get there. So yeah, good things are happening. As has been the case every single episode for the last 7 months. Daniel starts this ill, coming off the worst illness I've ever had in my life. So I'm actually in a positive mood because we're past the worst of it. Doing good. Hearts keep winning. I can't really complain. How are you?
I second those thoughts exactly, mate. I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. Obviously,
Thank
you
you.
sound a heck of a lot better than you did previously.
Yep.
We've obviously followed up last week's episode with an episode this week, so
Yep.
that's good. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not only are Hearts heading for a Scottish Cup quarter-final, albeit by the skin of our teeth against St Mirren in a very tough tie, and we are enjoying a decent recent run just now. Um, I've handed in my notice at work. My
Yeah.
my my stint in retail is nearly over after eight years. Wow. So yeah, can't wait to actually put the sports journalism degree that I worked my backside off for good use. So yeah, can't wait. Absolutely chuffed.
Buzzing for you.
Thank you very much. But I'm not quite as buzzing about that as I was about Monday night. I really had the fear that come that first half, and
Aye.
basically for the first 80 minutes, I thought, oh no,
This is it.
because a certain team's out, and like you need to only look at the bookies now. We're second favourites now.
Are we
They're tied,
actually? Oh,
yeah,
because of the ties.
because of the
Ah,
ties,
yeah.
and there's not that many teams left, so it's beginning to heat up. Um,
We'll get
but
put out by Dundee in embarrassing fashion. That would be the ideal.
yeah, that. Well, I'll put it this way: as long as there's an outcome at Celtic Park
Yeah, that's
that we
true.
don't
Aye.
usually want that happens, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm calm. Um, I'm sorry to start the podcast on a sour note, but I feel as though we should be honouring a true Hearts legend, as Gordon Marshall sadly passed away. Um, I've taken this from David Speed's article on the club website to basically get an education because I certainly didn't see Gordon Marshall play. You certainly didn't see Gordon Marshall play. He's before our time. But David Speed's article said all supporters of the Heart Midlothian Football Club are immensely saddened to learn that one of our truly legendary players, Gordon Marshall, has passed away at 85 years of age. He cherished his time at Tynecastle and his accomplishments were remarkable. Standing a powerful 6 foot 1 inches tall, Gordon was a dominant goalkeeper with a keen eye for a cross ball and a very safe pair of hands. He was also courageous, confident, and athletic, and in every way a top class custodian. Marshall took over as the Tynecastle number one at the age of 18, replacing the experienced Willie Duff and Jimmy Waters. Gordon went on to play a leading role in some memorable seasons for Hearts, making a total of 338 appearances. With a rock-solid goalkeeper in the rearguard, Hearts won the Scottish League Championship in both 1957-58 and 59-60. In that first title success, the team conceded only 29 goals in 34 games, and clearly Gordon Marshall played an enormous part in what was a record-breaking season. In addition, the goalkeeper played his part in 3 Scottish League Cup final wins: 5-1 against Partick Thistle in October 1958, 2-1 against Third Lanark in October 1959, and 1-0 against Kilmarnock in October 1962. He was rightly inducted into the Hearts Hall of Fame in 2016 because Gordon Marshall enhanced the reputation of the club both on and off the field. He will surely be missed, and our sincere condolences are extended to his family and friends. Very sad indeed, McIver.
Definitely. And like, you just need to listen to the era he played in, and any Hearts fan will know, oh, so he was a part of like when we were the best team in the country, basically. And yeah, just incredibly sad. Obviously, he also had a connection to Hibs as well, which is like rare now, but at the time a bit less rare. It was more common for players to kind of go between teams in the immediate areas. So there is also that like nice combining of the city where it's like
Yeah.
both sides. I saw Hibs did a thing for him as well. But yeah, just incredibly sad. Thoughts go out to his family and friends, but like what a genuine like legend for us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anybody that wins the League Cup, first and foremost,
Yeah, once,
could be
never mind
considered a
three
legend. Yeah,
times.
exactly. Three times in the space of what?
4 years?
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, league titles like that's just it's actually it's inconceivable to us.
Yeah,
It's
it's just you
mad.
can't
It
even
just
think about it.
it defies logic. So Gordon, rest in peace. And like you rightly say, heart goes out to his family and friends. But back to the present day, the Scottish Cup fifth round weekend. We have obviously seven other ties to discuss before we were the last away to St Mirren on a Monday night. Um, yeah. Um, the Scottish Cup weekend began on Friday night as annoyingly, Hibernian left it late, but got the job done against former player Scott Brown's championship hosts Ayr United, courtesy of a Rocky Bashiri goal, which sealed a 1-0 win for the Highbees. Saturday it saw four ties, sorry, three in the afternoon at 3 p.m. and one in the evening. Four first half goals saw Dundee destroy Airdrie at Dens Park after the D had conceded 12 goals in their last two Scottish Premiership matches. Of course, we were half of that, so that was great. And more from them to come. A certain Ryan McGowan slotted Livingston in front against Sir Paul Hartley's League One outfit Cove Rangers before a Teti Yengi brace saw Livy book their spot in the last eight with a 3-0 victory over Cove. St Johnstone, just like Hibernian, left it late against a side in the division below as Adama Sidibe's 87th minute strike saw Saints sneak through 1-0 against Hamilton Accies in Perth. And in the later match, Dyes and Maida hit a hat-trick as the Hoops proved too strong for Wraith Rovers in the late kick-off with Celtic winning 5-0 at Parkhead. But then we get into the Sunday. And there was a shock, just not at the ground that most people were anticipating a shock could commence. As Aberdeen continued their recent run of winning in the Scottish Cup, but nowhere else,
Yep.
as they saw off the Pars at Pittodrie, beating Dunfermline Athletic by 3-0. Kevin Nisbet's sitter, oh my goodness, later made amends, but his sitter was quite funny. Before something that's even more inconceivable than Hearts winning league championships and league cups. Rangers lost to Queen's Park in the Scottish Cup for the first time since 1882 as the Spiders scored with their only shot on target against the Gers at Ibrox in one of the biggest Scottish Cup shocks that I can remember. Before we chat about our mental Monday night match, what did you make of the other seven ties in question? It was relatively routine, except for one.
Well, that was the thing. It was leading up to be the most boring round, as the last round was as well. Where it was just like, oh yeah, all the teams you expect to win are winning reasonably comfortably. Yeah, Hibs leave it late, which was annoying. St Johnstone. Valakari just seems to actually be quite pragmatic, which is something that he did. He just wasn't for like months, which is
I hope
like.
they keep him on. I don't know why.
I know it's interesting.
I think they will, regardless of what division they're in next season. But I don't know. I think St Johnstone are like somewhat interesting, whereas previously they
They never
weren't.
have been, yeah.
No.
Who cares about Celtic? And the big thing for me on the Saturday games was just Macaulay Tate seems to be doing really well at Livingston, which is
Looks to be a
class.
really, really shrewd move for both he and Livingston, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm really, really chuffed for it. I know it's like the obvious of like he's played three and they've won three, but he's apparently been really good in all three of them as well.
Well, they've progressed in the Scottish Cup. They're through to the Challenge Cup
Yeah,
final. And
and
was
they
it
they were
the win
like,
over Falkirk?
yeah, they beat Falkirk to
Yeah.
like make a league
Um,
title race interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, chuffed for him.
quietly flying under the radar, Livy.
I
It'd be
know.
brilliant if they went on to win it for him. That would be great.
Yeah, well, in Macaulay Tate and Gowser.
And
Come
Gibson,
on.
of course.
Right.
Sorry, have you seen how littered Livingston are with ex-Hearts players?
It's
That game
crazy,
against
isn't it?
Falkirk,
Yeah,
genuinely, I counted it. There must have been something like 5 or 6 in the starting 11.
it's absolutely mad.
That's mental.
I support David Martindale's stance of just go a decade ago. Who did Hearts have? Right, we'll sign them. Right, the actual important game. I think it's the second biggest Scottish Cup shock ever,
Wow.
behind Darvel.
Oh, Darville's number one.
Darvel's number one in like its own stratosphere, right? But where do you rank it? Because it's like people are comparing it to Inverness, obviously in Celtic. Like that's a big thing.
That
Us
was a
and
wee bit
Brora,
before
obviously.
our time as well.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Inverness Celtic. So we can't really appreciate that. And
Yeah,
like I think that's made bigger now because you look at both clubs
yeah,
as the way they
totally.
are. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Obviously, you mentioned Brora there, which
But
was
it's
just
just the
a
context of like
disaster.
all the other ones I'm mentioning though, apart from Celtic one, are like you're away from home. That's the point. It's like Magic Cups. It's like Rangers were at Ibrox against any like
Yeah.
Rangers against Ibrox against most top flight teams. You're like, oh, okay, that'll be 4-0. Like, never mind playing a bang average championship team who have like one of the lowest budgets even within their kind of pool of fish.
There's something about Callum Davidson at
I
Ibrox. Like
know.
that's
I've no idea what it is. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
But
It's wild.
and it's also like the
Absolutely.
context of you miss a penalty right at the end as well. Like
Oh,
it was willed into existence where it was like, right, well, you're obviously going to get out of jail here, and it's going to be a
yeah.
bit embarrassing. Like,
Oh,
oh, they took to this.
you're expecting a classic like until they score up on the
Yeah,
Four Marshals
exactly.
kind of light up board thing.
But it's just inconceivable. What do you mean? Rangers have been knocked out by Queens Park at Ibrox.
Tell you what, Philippe Clement's comments as well afterwards were interesting.
His comments though were like really rational, sensible, and like
But we don't do that in
exactly.
Scotland
But that
though.
was what I was going to say. It's like, see, as a neutral, I was the biggest Queens Park fan you've ever seen. But you know what I mean in terms of like, I don't have an investment in Queens Park or an investment in
Yeah.
Rangers in terms of wanting either side to do well necessarily. Listening to Clement, I'm like, that makes sense. What you've said that it's like, listen, you can't just make a decision on one freak result. I totally understand that. Taking it in context, like
But
Europe,
nobody's
we're in the
buying
thing.
it.
But it's like Rangers fans will not care. Totally understandably, Rangers fans will go, mate, it's Queen's Park.
Yeah,
Like,
we've been embarrassed here.
yeah, we could.
Properly, yeah.
Rangers fans will think we should play our under 15s and beat Queen's Park. Like that will be the attitude from Rangers fans. So to then have their manager come out and go, it's no that big of a shock. You's never really win trophies anyway, so why sack me as a result of no winning anything?
100% is made worse because of the fact that they've obviously lost the League Cup and are
Yeah.
13 points behind with 13 games to
It's
go.
like this was their last chance to win a trophy.
Yeah, and that's now gone, and now they're kind of waking up to that realization.
What do they do now for the next 3 months?
He's not going anywhere, is he? With the assistant
Well,
being brought in on that length, what did they give him? A 3.5
I can't
year
even
deal or
mind.
something?
I saw it. I saw today it would cost 1.5 million basically to sack Clement.
I'm not being funny. If they can't shell out a couple $100,000
Yeah,
to bring Lyle Cameron in from Dundee before his contract's up,
100%.
it's not happening.
Yeah,
But that was wild. Because I think if anybody had identified a potential shock, it was going to be Dunfermline against Aberdeen.
definitely,
Like
definitely.
Queens Park, as you said, are bang average because their form's been erratic.
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
they can't even put a couple of wins together back to back. So then to go and beat Rangers at Ibrox.
And to beat them 1-0 as well. It's not even like they get a dodgy goal and then Rangers score and you're kind of like, ah, right, okay, this is when normality resumes. And then in the 90th minute, they get a penalty that should never have been a penalty and they get away with it. It's like, no, they kept a clean sheet at Ibrox. Like, it's crazy.
It's obscene. It's absolutely obscene. But that has opened the pathway, and now
You're
like
getting ahead of yourself.
no, but we should be licking our lips now. Like this, This is looking good. It is looking good.
It was one of those
But
things.
bar a potential draw in like the next
Yeah,
in the semi-final, should we make it?
yeah,
As like this is as good as we could hope for realistically. The fact that one of Livingston or St Johnstone are heading to Hampden is
yeah.
just
It's crazy.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Like this is this is it. What will be really funny is if Queen's Park go up to Pittodrie and win.
that
That
would be
that
the
would be
best
amazing.
thing
That would
ever.
genuinely be incredible.
Oh, that would be so good. I'd want that more than anything. I would. I was going to say I'd take getting knocked out. No, I wouldn't.
If
But
there's one away team that has to win in the Scottish Cup quarterfinals,
oh, please
please,
let it be them.
please let it be Queen's Park, just for the patter. That would
It'd be
be
so good,
incredible.
so good.
But those were the seven ties that preceded, of course, the one that we're here to talk about
And everybody
primarily.
in Scottish football is laughing at Rangers except Hearts and St Mirren fans because they're like,
Correct.
wait the now, we can't properly laugh yet.
Absolutely spot on. And again, there's a part of me that thinks, right, regardless of what happens here against St Mirren, our next league match is against
Oh,
Rangers.
we're going to get bad, but it
And
doesn't
we've got a
matter.
rancid record against said football club. And no matter who's in charge, no matter who plays for them,
Yeah,
there is some kind of hoodoo that Rangers have over us that is incredibly infuriating. Please break it this weekend, I beg of you.
yeah.
But Neil Critchley made just one change to the Hearts team that destroyed Dundee 6-0 at Dens Park. Alan Forrest took the project child Musa Drama's place on the right hand side, which meant that Hearts lined up as follows: Craig Gordon in goal, a back four of Adam Forrester, Lewis Nielsen, Jamie McCart, and James Luke Penrice. Cammy Devlin and Benny Beringame sat in front of the back four, with Alan Forrest on the right, Blair Spittle on the left, and Lauren Shankland basically just off Elton Kabangu in attack, with Xander Clark on the bench, George Grant, Callum Neuenhoff, amazingly he's here, Michael Steinvender, James Wilson, Sander Cartum, Kenneth Vargas, and Gerald Taylor. Thoughts?
I didn't really have many thoughts on the starting 11, to be honest, because I was like, yeah, he's not going to make wholesale changes to a team that won 6-0. The Alan Forrest, the one change, though, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, that's. I'm a fit. I said it after the Petro Cup game where it's like that I'm done with Alan Forrest now. I'm done with him. And it's sad because he's had really good moments at Hearts, but I think he actively makes us worse. And believe me, that first half was a shining
Oh,
light of it.
that could strengthen your case. He's basically a stopgap that starts now. Alan
Yeah,
Forrest.
exactly. That's a good way of putting it. For me, the more exciting things with the bench.
Yes, very much so.
Sander Cartoon coming in. I didn't expect it to be involved this soon. I thought we were going to have to wait another couple of weeks to see him. Steinvender on the bench, obviously less exciting because he already played.
100%
Earlier,
pass accuracy, got to
yep,
maintain it.
exactly. He definitely didn't do that last night.
That he did not.
But as you say, exactly a year to the round that he left Hearts for the injury table after initially being out for 8 to 12 weeks. Callum Neuenhoff returned. Remember that Airdrie game? How good he was. He was absolutely class. And then it was like, oh, he's picked up a wee niggle. We'll see him soon. Don't worry. And now he's back.
I also spoke to Scott, aka Heart Stats, when preparing some questions for this quiz.
Oh, of
I've
course
not
you
used I've not used this, but the assist in his last game was against Celtic in the 2-0 victory at Tynecastle. Do you know how long ago that
Oh, when he
actually
fell?
was? Yes.
Yeah,
That feels like a lifetime ago.
that's crazy. So much has happened since then.
He's probably looking round at the vast majority of his teammates going, who the hell
Who
are
are
you?
you? Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's crazy.
That is genuinely obscene.
And George Grant's still here. After all that.
He scored the opener in that game.
Oh, he did. He did. Just
But yeah,
crazy.
go on. I mean, like, his last game to contribute that assist and then to come back and do what he did. Like,
So technically,
back.
he's got
here.
3 goal contributions in his last 3 games. He's on
Doesn't
fire.
matter that there's been like 18 months between them.
Does not matter.
Does not matter a jot. However, Callum Neuenhoff didn't start.
We're far too excited at this point for a game that started in the way it did.
and it would appear that Hearts didn't really start.
Yeah.
4 minutes in is the biggest warning sign for me. Zach Hemming takes a goal kick, which looks to be met by Mikael Mandron up front. He's jostling with Jamie McCart. Lewis Nielsen just leaves his runner, Toyosi Olasanya, who latches onto the keeper's kick, and he looks to kind of lob Craig Gordon, but thankfully gets it a wee bit wrong and it lands on the roof of the net. That was after 4 minutes, and really there wasn't too much else to shout about it early on from a Hearts perspective. St Mirren, I think, despite Hearts' recent and decent form, basically smelt blood. It was as though St Mirren thought, we're at home, we're against a fellow Premiership team that we've already beaten in Paisley this season. Yes, we lost them in Edinburgh, but there's absolutely like no reason why we can't go and beat Hearts. Our first opportunity comes on 13 minutes. Cammy Devlin dispossesses Richard Taylor. The Aussie gives it to Elton Kabangu. The Rocket Man drives towards goal in front of the Hearts fans. He smashes from outside the area, but Zach Hemming tips wide of the right-hand post. And then basically an in-swinging corner from James Penrice was perhaps our next best chance of the half. And otherwise, we didn't do a lot else. He opts to take it short. He and Alan Forrest exchange a 1-2. He crosses before Saints nod clear, and Blair Spittle tries to volley goalward, but it trickles wide of the mark. From there on in, McIver, St Mirren were certainly cranking up the heat in the freezing cold.
Yeah, definitely. The Kabangu does so well with that chance, considering he wasn't playing on a football pitch; he was playing in a potato field. Because
that was not the best surface, was it? This is where a replay would have done us justice.
the world of
Like
good.
I know that we've edged through and literally by the skin of our teeth, but you wouldn't have grumbled had we actually been able to replay it on a
Aye.
proper pitch.
On a football pitch, yeah, exactly. It's just the way that ball's moving for Kabangu to stay over the top of it and not just lash at it is insane. Devlin does so well as he does there. But yeah, I think, as you were saying, St Mirren just were like, we've got the wind in our favour. The wind's pushing this ball massively forward, so we're just going to go long ball. Like, St Mirren are rubbish, right? St Mirren are so bad. Another one of those nights, by the way, that you just kind of think and go, there was a section of our support who wanted Stephen Robinson as our manager.
No, thanks.
Like, and imagine watching that every week. They're just all 6'4" giant guys.
They're huge. Even their ball play. I was looking at the midfield trio. The boy Killian Phillips is massive. He's massive. Him, Mark O'Hara, Caelan Boyd Munce, like they're deceiving. You don't think that they're as large as they actually are. Like even when they had the fullbacks, the wing backs. Obviously, Sean Rooney was there. You look at the back three. Alex Gogic is just an animal. Richard Taylor, I think's got a bit.
Yeah.
And the two up front, Mikael Mandron and Olasanya. Good God.
Olasanya's the only one who I think like has a bit of ability. Like where Olasanya can take it down and like do something with the ball.
But it's so old school and it's like a little and large. Like
Yeah,
Olasanya, but even then Olasanya's not wee. He's like
he's wee in context of this St Mirren team.
He's one of their smaller players, but it's still a pretty big boy.
He'd be one of our biggest players.
And he can shift. Like he's like a weird whippet next to big Mandron, the big fucking skyscraper up front.
Yeah, like they are a terrible football team. But what they are quite a good Scottish top flight team where it's like
dogged.
Yeah, they're just physical, all fighting for each other. But it's I cannot imagine watching that every week.
Do you know what though? I don't mind it. Like
I don't mind it in terms of like I'm like you do use with your budgets and stuff like that. It's effective for you, absolutely.
Realistically, he's been successful. Like,
definitely.
St Mirren are an established Premiership team. Like they're never going to get suckered into a relegation battle. They'll challenge for top six and Europe like they did last season. Yeah. They're sort of in that middle kind of periphery where it's like they've definitely got enough to survive.
Yeah,
no question. It's how far can he realistically like take them up the table.
But that was the thing. The problem is that it's like we got dragged into that physical battle, and you're never going to win that physical battle against them. You needed to basically get the ball. The problem is our natural instinct, because we just have better footballers, is to get the ball down and play. But on that pitch, you cannot do that at all. So we're for like the first half, maybe even hour, we just didn't really know what to do.
No, and you mentioned the physicality. I mean, they made to look that work in their favour on 18 minutes. Killian Phillips, who I mentioned, is a giant himself. Don't know why he's taking the throw, but then they're all huge. Jamie McCart heads it away before it comes back to him, who looks to just scoop one back into the box. And as you rightly said, the wind or whatever seems to just take it in its favour. His cross turns into an awkward one, which Craig Gordon has to tip over the crossbar and just ultimately takes no chances with. But like aerially, I thought we were getting absolutely bullied from pretty much the first minute.
We were.
You could tell that two of the back four were young guys, one of whom has had a couple loan spells out of the club, and another has been exposed to more first team minutes than ideally we'd like.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way of putting it. I will say, I said this last night, and it might be harsh, right? And it probably is harsh. But to me, worryingly, Adam Forrester is looking like Liam Smith 2.0 for me. Where I'm just like,
I hadn't thought of that.
I'm just like, I don't think you're ever going to be good enough.
But you kind of see glimpses though. There's glimpses where he, I think he does, where he tricks you into thinking, oh, he might make it.
I don't yet. I've seen Heidenheim where it was like, oh, you look good. It's like, Heidenheim, you look really good. But I've seen a lot of people say that where it's like, oh, in other moments in game. And I'm like, no, for me, it was Heidenheim. And then he's shown nothing else for me. Whereas the other youngsters, like, obviously, Wilson is like in this camp of his own.
He's the GOAT. Yeah.
Where you're just like, I mean, we'll get to it.
The greatest youngster they've ever had, question mark.
Like, that penalty made me just go, oh, you're going to play for Scotland? This is ridiculous.
You know he's good when everybody's saying, oh, it's actually a Hearts youngster that you're worthy of keeping tabs on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's been so many that have slotted through the trapdoor in recent seasons, but everybody's kind of looking on with intrigue at Wilson, and I don't know what that's down to, if it was like the early Derby goal or...
He's just consistently been all right in a team that's been shite for ages.
And he's enjoying a wee breakthrough now where it's like, you just want to see him kind of shoved up into that.
But it's like him.
Like he belongs there.
Wilson has done very well. And then even when like Tate was breaking through, you were like, yep, I can see what you're going to be.
Just keeps it nicely.
Like, yeah, I know what player you are. With Forrester out with Heidenheim, I'm like, can you defend? Like, can you send it for? You're not like Gerald Taylor. I'm like, oh, I have my concerns with you, but I know what you're good at. I don't know what Forrester's good at yet. And I just feel like he's not going to get to that level.
With Taylor, obviously, there's a couple of years head start as well. And
100%. Taylor's a different situation.
You can see that. I mean, you mentioned Adam Forrester there. On 20 minutes, we're forced back the way, and he plays a terrible back pass, which the lively Olasanya again looks to get on the end of. He looks to round Craig Gordon before ultimately trying to centre for his strike partner Mandaron, but thankfully Jamie McCart is there to clear. But he at least acknowledges the error, which I don't necessarily mind, but somebody give him a shout. I mean, he's a young lad.
I will say this, I've just been quite critical. I'm glad you've mentioned this moment, because for me, this is the moment they score. And it's not to do with Forrester. It's to do with the guy who gave them the ball. It's to do with Forrest. Because in that moment, Kabangu's done really well. This isn't even really in the highlights. When you watch the highlights, it just starts with Forrester getting the ball fed back to him and the pass back happening. But when you watch the game, Kabangu does really well, holds it up, nods it down to Forrest, and runs and makes a pass. For all his faults in the last few games, Musa's initial reaction is to just play that ball. Now, a lot of the time, he will play that ball and it'll go out of play.
Terribly.
And it'll be really bad. But his
At
natural
least he'll ask the
instinct,
question or whatever.
yeah, his instinct is to play it forward. Alan Forrest takes it into feet, checks inside, and turns around and passes back to Forrester. And it's like, in a moment, that sums up where we were. And we now have players where it's like, no, we're not there anymore. Kabangu's where we're going, where his natural reaction is play a ball off, run forward, go for a run. Forrest isn't. Forrest is part of the old regime of like, get the ball down, be safe, turn, and give it back to somebody. And then, yes, as you say, Forrester doesn't get the shout, and it leads to a terrible bypass. But that then starts this period of 3 or 4 minutes where St Mirren have pressure, and eventually we all know what happens.
Because just as the warning signs become apparent, the Buddies bundle themselves in front. Mark O'Hara's corner is flicked clear by Jamie McCart. Caelan Boyd-Munce gathers before slipping inside towards Declan John. It's worked out to the initial corner taker, Mark O'Hara. The Saints skipper looks to shoot. Gordon spills, and Michael Mandron is on hand to tap home the rebound. 1-0 St Mirren, and the hosts deservedly go in front.
Yeah, definitely. Side note, Declan John looks so much like Barry Ferguson. It's unbelievable. It's all I could think about last night watching that game.
I mean, he is former Rangers. Do you think that Barry Ferguson was lurking in the background?
Maybe.
He thought, I'm
He's a
going to model
regen.
my look on him.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's a regen. So deserved. Like, absolutely deserved. As I say, it all comes from, in my opinion, that moment from Forrest, and it was 3 minutes of pressure. Everybody should just do better in this instance. It's a bad clearance. It's a bad block. There's about 4 moments you can get the ball away. It's a bad push from Gordon. It's a bad reaction from the defence. I know it's a bit like it just hits off Mandron and goes in. But that's what strikers do.
He doesn't even connect well with it. He basically just kind of sticks a leg out and
hits
kind
his
of nudges
shin.
it. Yeah, he nudges it towards goal with his shin. But
Yeah.
as you say, he's there on hand, right place, right time. You can't knock it. And again, it's just. I was going to say it's just bullying. It's just making your presence be felt, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what they do. And regardless of if it's, I actually thought Jamie McCart had a really good game, but in this case,
I thought he was solid.
it's kind of on his side. But my concern was more Adam Forrester and Lewis Nielsen because, like I say, they're two youngsters that are kind of being hung out to dry at the minute. I really hope that Michael Steinvender, who obviously came on here, can get up to speed as quickly
Lewis
as
Nielsen's
possible.
done really well, I feel, since he's come in. It was just, I feel like this was a game that just does not suit him at all.
No, no. I feel like Lewis Nielsen is very much going to be a Tynecastle player in terms of games where we're expected to have the ball. He will start
Maybe,
and
yeah, maybe.
try and I was going to say replicate Craig Halkett, but I actually think Lewis Nielsen's decent enough on the ball where he
Yeah, I
could be the
think
one
so.
to try and play out from. Um, However, one more chance to speak about. It's not really a chance, but a rare Hearts opportunity comes 7 minutes before the break. A lovely turn from Benny Beningame on halfway before my Congolese king finds Alan Forrest. He and Adam Forrester link up as the fullback advances on the right flank. He crosses for the winger again, but he balloons the bouncing ball high over the bar with an attempt that just it doesn't even merit anything. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not even like he gets a solid strike away or nothing. It's kind of he just sort of raises a leg and hopes that Adam Forrester's cross is going to ricochet off it. That's what it looks like to me.
I'll be honest, as you were describing that, I was like, I don't even remember this chance. But as soon as you said Forrester's cross, I was like, oh yeah, and it rebounds to, like, it somehow gets through to
Yeah,
Forrest,
it
basically.
bounces, and I don't think Forrest is expecting it, and it
Yeah.
kind of hits off him, and like this is exactly where I was at. Like if we're trying to clutch to this straw as a chance
Yeah.
or an opportunity,
Shows you how bad the first half was.
100%
Yeah.
deservedly behind at the break because
I
we've
think
been absolutely battered.
I think I messaged you going, there is a positive though, because it surely can't be any worse than that.
Oh, that was rough, absolutely rough.
Bad.
But yes, on 46 minutes, Mark O'Hara plays in to Yossi Olasanya in behind the Hearts back line, chases on the left hand side, cuts inside, but drags his effort wide of Gordon's left hand post. Um, 49 minutes, we're trying to push for an equaliser. I actually didn't think that we started the second period that badly.
No,
Penny Beringame, again, driving from deep, steps inside to find Blair Spittle, who frees James Penrice down the left-hand side. He centres for Shankland, who gets a touch on it, but can't quite connect how he'd intended. We do keep it alive. Forrester, and Devlin eventually find Blair Spittle before he blazed over. But ultimately, we've said this so many times, and this season, you've just like this is a case study on it. If Lauren Shanklin does not perform, we do not perform. And this was a really poor performance from the captain, I felt. Just when you thought he'd worked himself back into the good books with that Dundee display and a fine finish, the assist for Cabangu, thinking brilliant. This is it. Strike partnership. They're back. We've got James Wilson come off the bench whenever necessary. But Shanklin, we just couldn't connect anything middle to front, and ultimately Lauren Shanklin was kind of tasked with sitting in the middle of the trio and behind Cabangu, and nothing really came of it for our Belgian brute to get some service.
he was really bad. He had a couple of really nice moments, as he often does, but
Yeah, I
he
don't think it was for the want of trying.
no, no, not at all. No,
I will say that previously, I just think like there's been a sort of lethargicness, and I can't really be bothered. I should have got my move. Whereas here, I just felt as though nothing was coming off for him, and I don't know whether that's necessarily his fault.
there was a couple of moments though that it was like really lazy attempted passes
Yeah,
that break down moves, and you're just kind of like, oh, for God's sake, just put your foot through that, just and look where you're passing to. But obviously, a lot of people were guilty for that last night. It's just so frustrating because it's like we obviously have had that. There's now until he leaves in the summer. There's going to be these discussions about Shankland where there was that 6 game period where he was out and we were just flying, and then he comes back and we have like the best performance we've had in years, and people go, "Oh, so it's fine." We were all a bit worried that when Shankland comes back, maybe it breaks up everything and that. No, it makes us better. We're even better now. Everything's great. But that was such a unique one-off fluke of a level of performance. Like, I think we look at the games before the Dundee game. We were very good. We've played as well as the Dundee game, but you don't get 6 goals every. Like, it doesn't matter how good you play. You don't regularly score 6 goals unless you're Celtic. Last night was a bit more of a like, yeah, this is what I thought it was going to be like when Shankland comes
yeah,
back into this.
a bit of a slog, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah. But again, conditions really affect. Like I'm saying there, that there was a couple.
It was a big leveler, the
Yeah,
park, and even the weather, like the fact that it's. I mean, it wasn't the best night.
yeah, it's absolutely chucking it. It's freezing
Pissing it
cold.
down. You're adding to that shitty surface already.
That's why
And
I'm maybe being a bit harsh by saying it's like there are a couple of like lazy passes, because it's like the best will in the world. Your pass is probably only going to make it who you want it to in the way that you want it to, just because it's so bad. But on the flip side, there was other people who were able to do, like Benny was able to deal with the conditions pretty well.
Benny was excellent last night.
Cabangu, I felt, did pretty well with it, and we'll speak about it in a bit. But one of the substitutes, I was like, if you're doing this on this pitch, what are you going to do on an actual pitch?
He's one that will excite us for sure. An annoyance is Lewis Nielsen being taken off on 52 minutes
Yeah.
of the injury. With Craig Halkett sidelined, with Stephen Kingsley sidelined, with Frankie Kent sidelined. This really was the last area that we could have done with an injury. But Mikey Steinbender comes on.
It's almost like somebody said that we were too light in the centre half area and that this was going to be a potential issue.
Yeah, I should have.
Thankfully,
I know I hate myself for it.
No, you shouldn't have, because this is another instance of me being proved correct, and we should always revel in them because there's only about 4 of them a season.
Let's keep them
going. Exactly. Today, as we're recording, Critchley has come out and said it was just a dead leg. So hopefully that is all it is, and that he's available for selection. But Steinbender came on, and all I'll say is, so far, I'm unconvinced, because I didn't think he looked very good, but it's you need to use context. It's like he's been thrown in way too early. Like he was probably thinking, I'll have a few weeks to get up to speed. It's all right. Oh, I'm playing in Paisley on a potato field in the rain up against 9 foot men. Right, cool.
I was just looking there because somebody texted me last night, and I can't remember who it was, saying that Michael Steinwender gives them Zaliukas vibes. And
That's a good way of putting it.
I sort of get where they're coming from because I'm kind of in that camp as well, where it's like I I like him because he's come from a foreign land and a country that like I don't know how the hell he's ended up at Hearts, but he has, and he's here now, and we want to back him as best we can. But it's like by the same score, like I don't know, is there a dodgy moment within within
He just
him?
didn't look
Like
very assured.
no, no, but it's early days as well because it's
Oh, it means
players that obviously
absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of his actual Hearts
yeah.
career.
Like when you're in that infancy, I think defensively it's really tricky
It's way
to
harder.
to strike a balance with somebody than offensively
Let's be
because
honest, Cartoon dribbled twice and we're all like, oh, it's the next Paul Hartley. He looks
yeah.
amazing. Steinbender was like fine, but just didn't look too assured. And everybody's like, oh, have we made the right decision?
Sander Carton plays a couple of passes basically into teammates that are like 5-10 yards away. And everybody's going, "Oh, thank God it's not ended up at Forest on the wing and he's ended up losing it." It's like, yeah, again, there's going to have to be a cohe and now. The bonus is if Lewis Nielsen's only out with a dead leg, then great.
Yeah.
But if he is, then this is the chance for him, Michael Steinbender, that is to build some cohesion and
Yeah.
understanding and try and work his way into being our starting centre half
I really
alongside
like him because he's
Jamie McCart.
very self confident. He's like, I'm good. I'm
Yeah, he's
very
assured.
good. That's why I'm here. So I'm like, okay, I'll trust you.
We're just hoping to see kind of more
He's also Austrian, so I'm biased.
accomplished and commanding performance, and he's fucking massive. I tell you
Exactly.
what, Stephen Robinson is
Would
furious
love him.
that
He would fucking
he's
love him.
furious that he slipped through St Mirren's attention. But on 63 minutes, like you say, another double change. Sander Carton makes his Hearts debut alongside James Wilson coming on for Cammy Devlin and Alan Forrest.
I hope
Thank God.
Devlin's all right, by the way, because he
Yeah.
couldn't walk in a straight line as he was coming off. And obviously, it was concussion based after that incident in the first half with, I think, Gogic. Was it Gogic or Richard Taylor? I can't remember.
Yeah,
When they both go for the
I think it
ball,
was. I think it was Gogic. It was
um,
a wee header kind of
yeah,
into his. Yeah,
Devlin wins it and he gets headed in the temple, which is obviously the worst area you can get headed in. But yeah, the way he was brought off was quite not scary, but just concerning. Where it was like everybody kind of going up to him and being like, "No, you need to go off now," and he was just kind of like he didn't seem
he's not buying it
aware
though,
of
is he? He
what's
just
going on.
wants to play on the Cammy.
I hope so, but he did it in a way that was like he didn't seem to understand why he was being brought off, and it's like,
No, no.
please, please be okay.
Yeah, this is a must. So no, you are right. However, I I said it wasn't Lauren Shanklin's best night. He actually creates a decent chance for himself. Adam Forrester fires into him on 72 minutes. A great first touch, to be fair, before he flicks over the head of Richard Taylor. A couple nice touches, kind of brings the ball under control, but Zach Hemmings equal to his right-footed effort. And on 81 minutes, this is as vital as what happens just a couple minutes later. A great save from Craig Gordon denies Declan John, aka the Barry
Barry
Ferguson
Ferguson.
regen, after the left wing back has a pop from distance. Hearts failing to clear the lines yet again from a Saints throw-in. But on 84
Wait,
minutes, two changes were made.
we need to
Go
speak
on.
about someone else in
The
that
Gordon
moment.
save.
Yeah, because it's amazing. But how did they not get a penalty from Benny's handball? It's
I
a
think
handball. It's a handball, man.
It is, but it would have been harsh.
Maybe,
Like,
but they're
Hearts
given.
had Hearts conceded that, you'd be raging.
I'd be raging, but I'd go, but yeah, in the rules, that's a penalty. Like, his
I,
arm's out, and it hits him in, like, the wrist.
I know, but I like the proximity thing as well, isn't it? Like it kind of it is in an unnatural position, but like
I think we
from
really got
from
away with one.
from how close that is, I don't know. I don't think that's as lucky as it's certainly not as lucky as our goal, and it's not as lucky as I think you're making out.
I couldn't believe it. As soon as I saw it, I went, oh, well, that's a penalty. That's it. 2-0, game's dead. And when they just played on, I was
I
like,
didn't, to be fair.
what? I couldn't believe it. If that's the other way, I'm furious we don't get given that. Like, I'm livid.
Yeah, yeah. I,
I'm not complaining, by the way. I just can't believe
no,
it.
no, I know. I don't think it's as big as you're making out, if I'm honest. But it's opinion.
Ha ha, St Mirren. Play
Oh,
up to it. You were denied a Stonewall penalty, then we knocked you out the cup. Fuck you.
oh, I want to see Stephen Robinson's violin, 100%.
Well, this was the thing. He said something in the second. You won't have it in your highlights because I haven't been able to find it. He said they were denied like a Stonewall penalty in the extra time.
Oh,
and I can't even think of the moment.
There's something else as well, by the way. The BBC are an absolute disgrace. I watched the game last night and I thought, right, okay, well, it was clearly on BBC Scotland. So I'll just go on Sports Scene and I can take down kind of noteworthy points and highlights. What? Not there at all. I've got women's highlights. And I think it's fucking Premiership highlights from the week before. Honest, Sports Scene. And what was the punditry team last night as well?
Well, I watched on Hearts TV.
Andy Halliday and Stephen McGinn. Are you fucking winding
Was that who
me up?
it was?
With Stephen Thompson as presenter.
Fuck me, how St Mirren based is that?
Exactly. And talk about the bloody the backup brigade. Jesus. I mean, Andy Halliday just patched Clyde 1 because Rangers got beat and didn't want to face the music. That's fine. But just take the night off, Andrew. Your missus is pregnant. Go and support her.
How was Stephen McGinn? I didn't even know he did punditry.
Oh, he's been on Go Radio a couple of times. Yeah.
Is he all right? Is he a good pundit?
No, he's a boring bastard.
Oh, okay.
But they keep him on because he's an invincible and he might be a tie to John McGinn.
Yeah, he's one of the McGinns. Yeah.
Fuck off. Just fuck off.
Oh, I wish I'd known that. I had Laurie Dunsire was doing it solo, so I was watching on Hearts TV.
I probably would have preferred that in all seriousness.
It was good.
But BBC and Sports, sort your shit out. A dog shit programme, honestly. I slate it every week, and rightly so. But here, I'm not even given the option to go back and slate stuff because I've forgotten it. Oh.
Anyway, we equalised.
Didn't have this on the bingo card for the episode.
Of course, you find a way to rant, even in a game where we've won.
You are correct. As on 84 minutes, St Mirren try their best to block the box. They've set up camp. Their rows of massive tents are just ahead of the area. And James Penrice receives from the left-hand side. Pirouettes on the edge.
It's the most pointless roulette you've ever seen in your life.
Absolutely no need for the pirouette. And had it not led to the goal, I'd be saying not the time or the place. Wilson and Cabango look to combine. Wilson just fires the ball in low, desperate for anybody to get anything on it. He looks for the aforementioned Penrice, or indeed any other Hearts player to stab home. It falls for Callum Neuenhoff, and he rifles home our equaliser. After an injury nightmare, the Aussie keeps our Scottish Cup dreams alive. Hallelujah.
It wasn't quite as good as his goal in this round last year against Airdrie, but it matters just as much. Actually, it matters way more, considering Neuenhoff's goal against Airdrie was just 1 of 20. Penrice does so well. He does a completely pointless roulette that is hilarious, but he's the one that's running in after it to get a touch on it to play it back to the Hoff. So good.
Is that our title? Pointless pirouette or pointless roulette?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is actually. Yep, that is. Because it was a lot, but it's why I love him.
Pointless roulette.
It's why I love him so much. He's just doing that in the 80th minute when we're 1-0 down. He's like, I'll just do this. I love that James Wilson, clearly all he thinks is, I just need to shoot at all times. Whenever I get the ball, just shoot.
Shoot on sight.
And I'm so on board. But yeah, if there's one player I wanted to score, it was Neuenhoff. So chuffed for him. Basically, his first touch, I'm saying it was his first touch.
He's not a hologram. He exists.
He exists. It's amazing. What a novelty. He spoke I watched his press conference over the weekend, and he was speaking about how it was initially a tear on his hamstring, and they sorted that, but then they went in and it was actually his tendon, which is pretty much the identical injury that Aaron Hickey's had at Brentford that's kept him out for like 600 days. Like Hickey's been out for nearly 2 years now. So it sounds absolutely awful. Obviously, the mental aspect of it is probably way worse than the physical because you just don't trust your body at times, and it'll take a long time to get used to that. But it very much was a Callum Newhoff goal where it's like, yeah, he's a midfielder that will just get into those areas and always try and score. I felt he didn't really like do a lot more in the game in terms of big moments, but he just felt like it was like, oh yeah, Newhoff's back, so we've got somebody who'll carry it and do well from the midfield.
And was recycling and like
Yeah,
yeah, just keeping things ticking over. It it was yeah, just as a nuisance really. Like
he
it was
feels like a
very
new signing.
it was very much kitchen sink territory, and I think it
Yeah,
was just a case of anybody that feels as though they're in any way capable of
yeah.
doing something, just get yourselves
Well, that's
forward
what
and
Critchley
we'll
said.
chuck it in the mixer and we'll see what happens.
Critchley said they brought on Newhoff exactly for that, in terms of he's somebody who will run in late from the edge of the box and react
Because
to scraps.
we don't have many of those types of players.
Nah.
He and Carter are maybe two that you could put in that
Well,
potential
that's it.
bracket,
I wanted
and
to
not
mention
not a great deal else.
Cartoon because obviously that's the first time we've seen him, and I'm not being like, oh my god, he was the best player I've ever seen. But just everything he did, I thought it was a really good debut. He just looked really proactive. I know when he joined, he was like, I really like to dribble. But it was really noticeable that like every time he got the ball, he was just like, right, I'm now turning around and running forward with it.
He looks like a midfielder that's in prime time as well. Like
Yeah.
if this is him ready to rock and roll, then so be it. And we mentioned James Wilson kind of and his want to shoot on sight. His want to go up against Alex Gogic for an aerial duel is arguably even more impressive, as
Yeah.
we very nearly secured our passage into the quarterfinals with what would have been the best late turnaround of all late turnarounds. Richard Taylor looks to attack a Saints throw in the box. Lauren Shanklin swivels, keeps the ball up and impressively volleys clear. It then bounces before James Wilson and Alex Gogic meet on halfway. Somehow he gets up and
Fair play,
wins it with
Wilson,
that
man.
incredibly long neck of his. He goes up, just wins it, frees Elton Kabangu, who bears down on goal. And we're thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. The Belgian maybe takes one heavy touch too many as he goes round Zach Hemming, steers towards goal, but Saints clear off the line. That was all she wrote after 90 minutes. Full time, St Mirren won, Hearts won. But considering for a good chunk of that match, we were pretty rubbish. And as you said, we're bringing on some of the backup brigade rather than our first team starters. We would absolutely have taken that result after an hour and a half.
Definitely. I do agree that his second touch isn't great, but again, I think it's the pitch. The pitch just causes it to stick, hold up. He has to hesitate for half a
He's
second.
got it under control, but he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. He can't. He's not confident because why would you be? You don't know where the ball's going to go at any time. And that's why I was saying I was so impressed with Cartoon because it's like if you're doing that on this pitch, what are you going to do on an actual football pitch like Tynecastle? Like that's exciting. Really gutted for Cabangu. I thought Wilson was excellent last night. I thought he won like everything in the air against these giant men, and it was
It's
so
just
weird
that,
to see.
you know, the thing I love about James Wilson is like nothing phases him at all.
Yeah, I know. I
He,
know. It's
I
crazy.
actually thought that's the first I've kind of seen of that St Mirren youngster as well, Mooney,
Evan Mooney.
who's the same
Aye.
age.
Yeah.
The two of them look really, really good.
Yeah, they look good.
Obviously, we've got a far bigger sample size of James Wilson, who I just adore. But yeah, I'm really encouraged by that young crop of Scottish talent coming
I know
through.
because there's like Bobby Wales and stuff like that doing
Bobby
well
Wales
and
at Killy, yeah.
Kelly. So it's like, oh, there's a few of them who are like doing all right.
Just spawning in these random
Yeah.
places. So yeah,
Do we need
all
to
on
speak
board.
about extra time? Because what the fuck happened in extra time?
Thank God you said it because I took down three chances
I can't even think of them.
and they're primarily rubbish. On 100 minutes, Marcus Fraser's deflected effort trickles wide. rubbish.
I don't even remember that.
108 minutes, George Grant's strike is blocked before Kenneth Vargas can't quite
Oh,
curl
I
his
remember
effort into the
that.
far corner. That was unfortunate, to be
Yeah, that
fair,
was unlucky.
from the wee man. And 115 minutes, James Penrice's free kick curls on target, but Zach Hemming
Oh,
responds
yeah,
with
that was actually quite a good
with,
save. That
with a
was a good
solid
save.
save. Yeah, good effort as well from Penrice.
Yeah,
I I think it favoured the left footer rather than George Grant trying to
yeah.
take it. You're just thinking this is so Stephen Kingsley territory.
I
Why
know
do you
exactly.
have to be on that
I
treatment
know.
table? But then it came down to penalty kicks against St Mirren. Great. What do you want me to just like? Are we going through pen by pen?
I think there's three people you need to speak about for this.
The main talking point is James Wilson stepping up first
It's. I
with
couldn't believe it.
an incredible effort.
The two
Like
17-year-olds had the two best penalties,
a
actually.
million percent.
I couldn't believe how good Wilson's penalty
Unbelievable.
was. It's
Uh,
it's ridiculous.
to set the tone, you made your debut for the Hearts first team last year in this very competition.
Yeah, I was there and
And,
you were really bad,
and,
and now
and,
you're here.
and you've got the audacity to tuck it away like that.
It's ridiculous. It's such a good finish. It's almost
That
outside his boot as well.
that put my mind at ease. For like, I always think in a penalty shootout, your first penalty sets the tone. If you
Just
miss
the
it,
the
like
balls on a 17-year-old to be like, I'm going first and I'll put this top bins. It's
if you miss it,
ridiculous.
you're in deep doo doo. If you're lucky and you score, yeah, you take it, but you're then not feeling too confident. This literally was coolness personified.
It's unbelievable.
He sticks it away superbly, and you think one of the youngest players on the park, and you just in front of the Hearts fans,
I know.
you've stuck it away like that. God bless you, son.
And it then, I was even more confident because I knew the stat. Because one, I love stats, and two, he's my walking, living hero. I just knew the stat already. I've known it for years that Craig Gordon has always saved at least one penalty from every penalty shootout he's ever been because he has the reputation, especially from Celtic fans, of being shit at penalties. But I can't even remember how I know it. I've just known it for a while that in every penalty shootout he's in, he always saves at least one. So I'm thinking, well, if we just score ours, we will win this penalty shootout. That's how it works.
It's incredibly simple when you say it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But it's true. And it is just, I did watch back the penalty shootout on the Scottish Cup YouTube channel with the BBC commentator. So it was McFadden. I'm not sure who the actual lead commentator was.
Alistair Lamont was there.
Alistair Lamont was making the point, and he literally used the phrase, how much does it affect the penalty takers that the aura Craig Gordon has? And I love that sentence because I was like, yes, he does have aura. But it's like, there must be something in your head where you're like, oh, I've got to take a penalty against him. Like, one of the best goalies ever. Sound.
It makes Craig Beattie's penalty against Fraser Forster all the more impressive as well. Another giant, another
I know.
Stephen Robinson
I know.
transfer target. Probably trying
Yeah.
to get him up to St Mirren now.
Exactly.
And the third, so James Wilson, Craig Gordon.
We need to speak more about Craig Gordon because
Okay.
I sat last night.
What do you think's the better save? Sorry,
The first
from
one.
Oisin Smith.
The
as
first
opposed
one.
to James
Yeah.
Scott. Yeah.
James Scott's, like, Smith's is a good penalty and a good save.
Because he tips it round the post as well,
Yeah.
which is arguably even more impressive than the save that he makes from Scott.
Scott's is a good save, but it's a bad penalty. Because it's a terrible height for a penalty. It's a great height for a goalie. Because it's like, well, if you've dived that way, you've pretty much got it.
And
there's no power
Smith's
in
was
it.
kind of right along the deck.
Yeah, it's
And
low, it's into the corner, it's what you're taught to do. Watching the game, I kind of, for the first time this season, had my eye on Twitter, which I've not done all season, and it really hammered home why I'm not. Because some of the ways some folks speak about Craig Gordon is like fucking embarrassing. It's like, do you realise who you're talking about? Like, it's Craig Gordon. And
I'll be honest, I didn't think it was his best performance last
that's
night.
totally fine. He wasn't great.
In the 90 minutes or the 2 hours, however you want to dress it. But 100% he made amends in the
But there's
penalty
ways
shootout.
of conveying that. Just
Yeah.
like calling him a pensioner and saying, "Oh, it's pathetic. He's still in this team. He needs to go. Like it's embarrassing, stuff like that." And it's like, do you realize who? Do you realize who you're talking about? And then he also goes and does that in the penalty shootout,
Yeah.
where it's like, go and
That
have some
that
perspective.
that's where it's like you want like you're criticizing him, but you don't want to. And then
But you can criticize him without being weirdly like you hate the guy.
but then he also kind of he ropes you back into that way of thinking where it's like I just love you.
Like the way you
I love
criticize
all you're
him.
about.
The way you criticise him is going, oh, I probably should have done better at that goal. Not going, fuck you, Craig Gordon, get out the team, you're awful, like I saw some folk doing.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, he is a literal legend. I was explaining this to people even at work today. Like when we were wee guys, we saw Craig Gordon
He
in goal for
started in
Hearts.
goals at my first game ever.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad. Absolutely mad.
And then the third person we need to speak about is a combination, actually,
Of James Luke Penrice
of James Luke Penrice and
and
Marcus
Zach
Fraser.
Hemming. Oh,
Oh,
Marcus
let's
Fraser.
get all three of them in. Let's get all three of them because
Marcus Fraser, you are a helmet.
oh, get it so fucking up him. That was so funny. After all those attempts to put Penrith on, he just goes bang, straight in.
Even his card, like he was just dicking about, like pretending he was injured, miraculously recovers as soon as he showed the
So
yellow card.
good.
Like, fucking beat it,
And
Marcus.
Penrice's penalty
Loser.
is amazing, right? It's a
Great
good
pen.
penalty, but it's
Particularly considering Gerald Taylor had his saved, and then
yeah.
you're thinking, don't fucking throw this
Don't
away.
throw this away.
You've
Do
literally
not.
been given the perfect start.
Yeah,
Like it's the perfect platform to go and win a penalty shootout. I'm thinking, don't you fucking dare. Don't
yeah.
throw this away now.
And after the game, you see Penrice saying that him and Taylor actually swapped penalties. It was going to be Penrice number
Oh.
4 and Taylor number 5.
Oh Lord.
But the fact that Penrice makes a point of laughing at him as he runs, I love him so much. That image, which is on the thumbnail of him and Gordon, it's like it's just missing Devlin and it's my boys. Like it's just my favourite Hearts picture ever.
Yeah, it's genuinely like a dad and his son.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's so
It's
good.
amazing. It's like here's what you're going to be roped into for the rest of your days.
So good. And you saw the just genuine like how buzzing the squad were right at the end. It was so good.
Because as I say, like a big hitter's out, McIver.
I know.
We are second favourites, and that look largely it is down to the draw, which we're going to speak about now. What an opportunity we've got!
The biggest hitter is still in it and will now almost certainly win.
Of course, but there's a
It's
good
a-
chance
it's a
for us
much
to,
better
for us to get
chance.
to a semi-final, and then again, dependent on the draw, a final.
What's mad is
And then anything can happen. Like
Yeah.
it's a cliche, but in a one-off game, you know,
yeah, who knows?
it's bound to happen at some stage.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
I know.
And we're due a win against Celtic. The law of averages says
I know.
we have to beat them at some point.
I know this isn't how it works
What a
because
redemption arc that would be as well
Oh, it
at
would be
the start of
insane.
the season. It would be unbelievable.
I know this isn't how it works because the numbers would change considering Q and R. Oh no, but Q and R, maybe Rangers and Queen's Park would have been the same ball number. But I was just thinking, it's mad that Celtic and Hibs and it would have been Aberdeen and Rangers. Like that as a tie.
Between that and Hibs' late goal at Ayr was actually to our benefit because
Yeah, I know.
it would have been we would have been
Everybody
five
would have
as
moved
opposed
up.
to
Yeah.
4. Yeah. But I think this is as it was done. Livingston are at home to St Johnstone, so that'll be played at what was the Tony Macaroni and is now the Lease
Salmon.
Stadiums, Almondvale. Queen's Park were rewarded by their money spinner Ibrox with a trip to Tawdry to face Aberdeen up north. Celtic drew Hibernian. I was absolutely delighted. I'm going 5. Do not want this 5. Number 5. Yes, fucking get in there.
Well done, Paul
Dundee.
Black.
And now it's
Come
like
on.
at home. Number 4, up at Pops, Heart of Midlothian, at home to Dundee. Could that have gone any better?
No, the only way it goes better is if we get Queen's Park instead. Like, that's the only way.
Or Livy.
Or Livy, aye. I just wanted a home tie. It's been
Yes.
years, man.
Anyone, maybe barring Celtic, at home. But
Yeah.
again, there's that old adage of, well, if we're going to beat
You
Celtic,
have to beat them at some point. Like,
the
yeah.
best place to maybe do that is at Tynecastle. But that was never going to happen. Celtic are
Nah.
always going to get an easy draw at home, and unfortunately, they've drawn Hibs. Yeah, ties to be played weekend of the 8th, 9th of March. At the time of recording, I don't think we've got confirmation as to when the Dundee game will take
Nah, I'm
place.
not sure. I can't go because on the 7th, I'm getting 2 of my 4 wisdom teeth taken out. So I'll be drugged up in bed as it's happening. Unless it's on the Monday night for the TV for whatever reason. I might make it then.
Every chance we seem to just be, Friday night or Monday night
I
regulars.
know.
Just give us a Saturday or a Sunday slot.
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
they want the telly and they want
But
the.
I don't care. I'll sacrifice me not going for a home tie on a good day.
Just win. Just win the game.
Just win? Yeah, just win.
And speaking of just win, this weekend,
We're not good at it.
Hearts host Rangers in a 12 p.m. kickoff at Tynecastle. On Sunday, we haven't beaten the Gers in 17 meetings since the sole goal was enough in the Scottish Cup in February 2020. What are you thinking?
Played each other 17 times since that
Since then,
Lewis
and
Moore
haven't won.
Bazanic goal.
I think the best we've had is 2 draws. I
God.
think.
Halkett and then the one at home?
I'm going to check that. Yeah. First
No,
game of the season.
3. Garanku Yall. Right at the very end.
Jesus, remember that. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
God. Oh no, on the 3 each end of the season.
Oh, yeah. Tagala! We've got hundreds of draws, man.
Yeah. I've done us a disservice. I'm just looking 0-3, 0-4.
Yeah. We're going to
5-0.
get beat. Because
No, we're not.
we seem worse at Tynecastle than we do at Ibrox.
How bizarre is that to say?
I think we'll get beat 3-0.
I think it's going to be a draw.
I'd take a draw. I know everybody's going to be like,
draw's a bad result.
Everybody's going to be like,
Hearts will never get a better chance to beat Rangers.
yeah, they've been knocked to Queen's Park.
But they'll react. They'll
exactly.
demand the reaction.
Exactly.
Like, it's not as straightforward as that. It's not as though Rangers are going to do a fucking Aberdeen and just lose 14 games on the spin. Like they've still got like I can't see a way in which they don't score. For what is my thinking?
Yeah.
I can't see a way in which we don't concede. It's just whether we can score and hurt them, which is possible. It's definitely possible. I just think both teams are going to cancel one another out. I think it's going to be a 1 each draw. That's what I'm going to predict. There you go.
I think we're going to be 3-0 because it's Rangers at times.
Nice.
I hope you're right.
But I hope you're right. This rank rotten Stephen Naismith team drew with Rangers at the start of the season. Although Cyril Dessers did miss about 5 sitters, but now they've got Igamani up front. Yeah, I'm not helping myself here.
Yeah,
I'm not helping myself. Although we like Dessers. We've got a soft spot for Dessers. He's the Scottish Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, he's so much fun.
Even though he's Nigerian, I mean the one that plays in Scotland.
He's so much fun.
Enough rambling. The end is near, so let's do the quiz. You have a true or false. You have one multiple choice, and you've got a tough question that I'll maybe give you like a half point for. It's quite nasty.
Nice.
And obviously the who am I, which is again not nice, but sorry. I've basically got a list of potential who am I, and I just plucked one from the wilderness because I left it too late to prep because I'm a knob. Question number 1.
No disagreements for me.
True or false? Not that is Adam Kennedy a knob. Hearts take on Rangers in their return to Scottish Premiership duty this weekend. Was Sunday's defeat to Queen's Park the Gers' first ever Scottish Cup defeat at Ibrox against lower league opposition? True.
I don't know. When they were in the wilderness, did they get beat by somebody? I'm going to say true just because I've made a big point about how it's like the most mental thing. So I'm saying that is Queen's Park is the first time they've lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You've made such a big deal of it. And you're right to do so because it is true. How mental a stat is
That's
that?
crazy.
I couldn't believe that.
That is crazy.
That is genuinely obscene.
How is he still in the job?
in. We've been over this. They've not got
True.
the cash. Question number 2. 3 players that scored in the FA Cup round of 32 at the weekend previously plied their trade north of the border. Can you name them?
Ryan Hardy,
Very good. For Plymouth as they knocked out Liverpool.
Tomoki Iwata.
For Birmingham against your beloved
Oh,
Newcastle. What a goal that was, by the way.
it was ridiculous. I was watching it live as I'm just like, this
That was a
what is
great
happening.
game.
It was a
Great
good
cup
game.
tie.
Really good game. Richard Cobb went viral for a tweet about Cochrane.
Up against Dan Burn. What was
Yeah.
that like? That was amazing, man.
Who scored the first one for them? Oh, it was Callum Wilson on goal. Who scored for? Nah, the
You've done
Spurs
really well
boy.
here.
The Spurs
Really well
boys
here.
scored for Orient, so it wasn't them. Sorry, what was the question? Just in 3 of the games?
Yeah. No, it was 3 players, so you've got 2 of the 3 players.
Who would? I'm trying to think of folk who are down there. I'm trying to even think of games.
The last one, I think somebody that we've mentioned on the podcast before, bizarrely, because he's got no link to us, but
Could you give me the game?
I mean that would basically give it away.
Yeah, that would just give it away. Aaron Ramsey. Did he score for Cardiff?
Who does Aaron Ramsey? Does he play for Cardiff?
Yeah, he plays for Cardiff because they beat Stoke, and he was at Stoke, and every time he touched the ball, he got booed because Ryan Shawcross broke his
the
leg.
Arsenal thing,
Yeah. And then they won, and at the end, he went round the Britannia, like clapping all the Stokes fans, like shushing them and stuff like that.
It's not Aaron Ramsey.
It's not Aaron Ramsey. Who is it?
It's Justin Devaney for Crystal Palace.
I have no idea who that is.
That was the boy that played for Broomhill like 2 seasons ago.
We've mentioned him on this podcast.
Pretty sure we have, yeah, because Andrew Petrie had posted the tweet.
Oh,
I've spoken to you about him before. I had a tenner on him anytime, 3-1. Thanks for coming.
fair play.
Because again, that Scottish interest, but yeah, I scored for Crystal Palace as they beat Doncaster on Monday night. So
I didn't even know that game happened. So I'll take the 2 that I knew
did.
happened.
Yeah, you did well. You did well.
Thank you.
Question number 3. There are 2 Scottish Championship teams in the last 8 of this year's Scottish Cup. But how many was there last season? A, 0, B, 1, C, 2, D, 3.
I can't think of who was at this stage, but I feel like there was something about like it was a boring thing and there was nobody. So I'm just going to say 0. Was the 1.
I knew I'd be able to trick him with this. I planted this trap in the hope that you'd fall into it, and bang, there you are, because there was 1.
Who?
And it was our opponent.
What? Who did we play? Oh no, I'm not going to get this because literally last night I was like, who did we play after Adrian? I couldn't remember. So I've no idea.
Greenock Morton at Capello.
Oh, I was
Kenneth
there.
Vargas late on. I was there.
I was
No
there.
recollection.
I was there. I forgot. And we were all buzzing and then we get the draw. And it's like,
Oh, that
it's
was
Rangers.
horrible. I hadn't even made it out the ground.
No, I was
Literally
walking down
it
that
comes
hill
through.
and it was just like, oh, great.
That was actually a great night, to be fair.
It was class.
You and Waddle captured me and my pals, giving it loudly at
Brilliant.
Vargas's goal with the clips of the fans. A great time. Great
For some reason, I had that
Till, as you say, the draw
Yeah.
came up. We got Rangers.
For some reason, I had that as before Airdrie in my head. Because I went both of them. I went Morton and
Yeah,
Airdrie.
so did I.
But I had them as the other way around for some reason.
2 very good and very different ties.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Question number 4. Before responding to O'Shane Smith's spot kick with a super stop, who was the last player that Craig Gordon saved a penalty against whilst playing for Hearts? I'll give you a half. Well,
Oh, I didn't even get options.
no, I was going to say it doesn't really matter, but I was going to say I'll give you like a half point if you fancy guessing the team or whatever.
I feel like I was there.
Really
I feel like it was at Tynecastle.
Good start.
I feel like it was either Livingston or Motherwell. Is it? Oh, but I don't know anybody who plays for either of them. diddy little clubs that I don't spend my time thinking about. Um,
Wait till I tell you something about the team we came up against.
um, was it Bruce Anderson for Livingston?
I like the logic, and it was against Livingston,
Was it? I did
but
remember
but
it.
but I think Bruce Anderson scored, if my memory serves me. It was a teammate of his. If you want to keep trying to guess for whatever reason.
Yengi there at that point.
No,
Eh,
I'm
who
trying to see
plays for Livingston, man?
what was the date.
Oh, what was his fucking name? The huge guy they had up front.
Oh,
What was his name? I can't remember his name. He's
maybe,
gone.
maybe not up front. Maybe somewhere else.
I've no idea then. I've absolutely no idea. I'm going to say Jamie Brandon because he
Maybe
plays for Livingston.
maybe he was at like centre half or something.
Who the fuck is it? Centre half for Livy? I've no idea.
No,
Nah,
Io Obalai was the answer.
I thought he played for Motherwell.
I'm just looking to see. Oh no, Bruce Anderson didn't take. He
Actually, you say that, I do remember the penalty.
he started, but he came off.
I do remember the
So
penalty.
he wasn't available to take a spot kick. Andrew Shinnie, Sean Kennelly, and Jason Holt all scored. Christian Montano missed the target,
Yeah.
and Io Obalai had his penalty saved by CG. Our penalty takers, I'm extending the quiz here because I can do what I like. Don't give a shit. And any ideas as to who scored on the
God.
spot for Hearts?
A couple of years ago.
None of whom are still here. There's a great
Oh,
clue for you.
fucking great. I was going to say Lawrence Shankland and George Grant as two of my guesses.
No, I was going to say there's quite the range of Hearts' career here.
Jesus. Michael
so
Smith.
This would be 22, February 22. Michael Smith was
Smith.
not one of them.
Um,
He was taken off for Nathaniel Atkinson on 71 minutes.
Peter Haring.
Peter Harring's one. He took the second one.
Ellis Sims.
Scored the fourth. Very good.
I'm like 22. Who's there in 22?
Who was there and who was semi-decent?
Who would take pens?
Because now we're going to the shite.
Oh, God. We said Atkinson.
No, he didn't take one.
Fuck.
Put it this way, McIver, it was settled in 4 penalty kicks for a reason.
Right.
Like, they were decent pens, but
Why can't I think of a single player who played for us at this time? Janelli.
no.
What? Why is Gino not taking a penalty?
Gino didn't even come onto the park.
Liam Boyce.
No, but again, decent logic.
Stephen Kingsley.
He came on. Stephen Kingsley started, but no.
I can't think of a single other player who played for us at
I'm
this
trying
time.
to look at. Oh my God, one of these was brought on in the 105th minute. Oh my goodness gracious
What?
me for Barry Mackay.
That was going to be my next person. I was going to say Barry Mackay because this is when he was good.
Right, our first was a defender, and it's not Kingsley or Smith.
Halkett.
No.
He wasn't fit then. Let's be honest, he was out. Who was our back line then? Kent's not there yet. Kingsley, it's no Kingsley, it's no Atkinson.
No.
It's no Halkett. Why can't I think of other centre halves at this time? I have a complete mind blank when I just can't think of anybody.
This is better than the entire quiz.
Why can't
just
Daniel
done this.
remember centre halves? Who was our centre half at this time? Bobby Sibic
was alongside.
No way, man!
Who started in the middle?
I'm trying to get like the semi-final against Hibs. Like, who started?
Oh my fucking God. If you say Taylor Moore next, I'm actually going to stab you.
Is it Taylor Moore?
No!
I forgot Taylor Moore
Who
existed.
else?
I don't know. I forgot Taylor Moore existed, man. I don't know. Who is it?
John Suter. He was incredible in the final that
Well,
year.
obviously, I've forgotten that. Fucking rat.
John Suter, Peter Haring, somebody, then Ellis Sims.
Sims is fourth.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Why is the only name that's coming into my head a man who was there 6 years before? Milinkovic. 2016, all over again. Who was a midfielder then? Bazanic.
Oh, Bosnich was even here.
He wasn't. He'd left a year and a half before. Um,
Wow,
Nazy.
cat. Oh my fucking god, no.
Who
He's
is it?
retired.
Who is it?
Cammy Devlin and Benny Beningame were the midfield duo that day.
Right, but yeah, they're
Along,
not taking pens.
alongside Andy Halliday, who again it wasn't. The man that replaced Barry Mackay to take our third pen that day was Ben Woodburn.
Of course, I forgot. Why are you acting like I should have remembered these people? One of them, I'll give you Suter, but fuck him. But I've completely erased Ben Woodburn from my memory, right?
Do you know what's mental about the
I've got
Livingston
Sander
team?
Khartoum now. I didn't need him.
Do you know what's
Penrice would have
mental?
been playing.
And got booked. And on the other flank,
Alan Forrest.
correct as the two wing backs. How
Did I get a
mental
point
is
for that?
Yeah, you redeemed yourself there. So you can remember players that were playing for Livingston against Hearts, but not
Yeah,
who was
who
playing for
currently
Hearts.
play for us now. And I just watched last night one of them be class and one of them be shite, as I imagine happened on that day as well.
I watched John Suter miss out on a defeat to Queen's Park. So who's the real winner, John? Right. We're ending.
We've still got the Who Am I, man?
Eventually on the Who Am I? Are you ready to rock and roll?
I am.
Heart and Midlothian were the second club of my senior career, and I made as many appearances for the Jambos as I had for the club that I signed from. I joined HMFC in a very turbulent transfer window with a lot of incomings. My only season in Edinburgh was a successful one for the club before I departed Hearts for Greece. I went on to play in Japan, Bulgaria, Russia, France, America, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Algeria, and having picked up 96 caps for my country, I represented them at a World Cup and have also won international silverware. Who am I?
Jesus. There is no point asking for the clubs, because that's ridiculous, the amount of nations he's played in. Right, considering you've made a big point about how it's a hard one, you've went back in the annals, I feel like this is going to be somebody through early in the 2000s, so I'm going to narrow down the years. Also, success, if this is a 98 Cup winner again, I'm automatically saying Stefan the Dam and we're not delaying this pain any further. What years did this man play for Hearts?
This man played for Hearts between 2005 and 2006.
Right, he's part of the Gretna winning team. But he was only here for the season. I'm telling you now, I'm not getting it.
This was a tough one because I'll be honest, I thought you were going to do better in the quiz.
Thanks. Thanks so
Sorry,
much for
mate.
that. Just
No problem.
as I'm struggling, just kick me in the balls as I'm down. Thank you. Usually, that was so needless. Usually appreciate.
Sorry to be an arsehole.
I'm ill. Worst illness I've ever had in my life, and you're just like, and you're also shit at this. Shit at trivia.
Hey, you should speak about your feelings. That's how I feel in it.
I don't know. I don't know anybody who played in that team that isn't Stephen Presley.
Or Craig Gordon.
Or Craig Gordon. Right, I'm just straight away. What nationality was this person? If you say Lithuanian, I'm saying Chesnauskas.
This man was born in France but played for Algeria.
Oh, I don't know. Ibrahim Tal.
I think Ibrahim Tal was Senegalese, no?
Yeah, I think he was
Is that your
Senegalese.
guess?
Yeah, I don't have anybody. I have absolutely nobody.
Okay,
I think Tal was Senegalese.
I've no idea who this guy is. Rise Mbole.
Sorry, that's made up. You can't do made up, folk. You can't be playing FM, see a regen and go, yep, I'll just say his name.
Goalkeeper.
No, it's not. He doesn't
Yes, he
exist. He doesn't exist.
He's an Algerian goalkeeper. He literally.
What
played
is
for
his
the
name?
World Cup. Rise. I think it's Rise or Rice. Rais.
Right.
Mbole. M''. Bolhi.
I've misspelled his name every week.
Rice Mbole.
He played for us.
Well, not exactly.
If he didn't make an appearance for us, this is genuinely an invalid point because the rule is you had to play. If this doesn't, I get like it's completely stricken from the record. It doesn't count. I'm finding out, did this man play for Hearts? Because if he didn't, it doesn't count. Come on, transfer mark, load. Right, this is happening on the pod. Because if this man didn't play, this is I get. We've never had this happen, but the rules that we set out fucking years ago was that you automatically get 4 out of 4 on the rest of the quiz, regardless of what you've done.
We did not make that.
Yeah, we did. We made that as a rule. Stats by club. How many games did he play? He never played for us. It's ridiculous. This is a sham. You've made a mockery of the quiz. This is an absolute. I'm sorry, listeners, that he would do this. This is an absolute disgrace. And I think you've just made them up as well. I think you've added all that. I think you've paid for a Wikipedia page or a transfer mark page. This is all AI.
That's what I was going to do because I was that bored this afternoon. I thought, oh, I'll just scrap the quiz and I'll make this Algerian goalkeeper.
I cannot believe you've picked somebody who never played. I cannot believe you've done this.
What?
I'm the living embodiment of that meme. I can't believe you've done this.
All I'm going to say is that was somebody in a group chat that said to do this as a Who Am I for a laugh. So whoever that was, you can take the blame for this. And
I'm not being funny.
Rest assured, I will be grassing you up next week.
I'm not being funny. I have a list of 85 people I could do if we could include people who have never played for the club. But I've never done it because
Oh dear. Oh, that's not going to bode well.
Well, now all fucking bets are off. This is it now. You've unlocked the door. You can't shut it. This is it. Well, let us know if you've got this made-up man who has never played football for Heart Midlothian or the Hearts podcast. And if he did...
But did play for Algeria at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil.
Yep, made up. There's no evidence of it at all. If you have enjoyed listening to this, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you've enjoyed watching me have a breakdown about Adam breaking the sanctity of the quiz, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Perth to Paisley on all the socials, perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can get me on all the socials watching Rising Bullies starring role in Algeria's 2019 African Cup of Nations triumph at Adam T. Kendo.
We'll be back next week to discuss all the fallout from the Rangers game, anything else that happens. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.